We're here for a good time, not a long time. Join us here today on another episode of Outside Shots presented by the good folks at OG's. EJ's on the road out in LA, about to do the Lakers game tonight, so we'll see how this goes. But Eddie, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, and I'm have to surprise you. I'm not doing the Laker game tonight. We're actually off.
It's TNT only, right?
Yeah. So
yeah.
I have basically been in LA all week, and I went over to Santa Barbara the last 2 days,
Okay.
and I was playing golf. I played 36 holes a day,
Oh, man.
and for 2 straight days, I played on this golf course called Sandpiper.
Mm.
It's right on the ocean. One of the most beautiful golf courses you ever want to see. You can go to Jump Shot 8. I put it on my storyline. You can actually see it on Instagram. And had a tremendous time. Made a lot of money
That's good.
because that's what EJ does. EJ, when he gets on the golf course, he makes a lot of money. He makes a lot of money. So you don't understand nothing about that because you don't win at golf.
No,
But let me give you
I've struggled a couple times against you of late.
let me give you a quick little story. Yesterday in the back 18, you know how we play greenies, right? And you know, for people to understand that greenies are all the par threes, closest to the pin wins the greenie. You got to validate it with a par, and we normally play $5. So so the winner of that particular hole can win $15, right? So these par threes are so difficult. They are so difficult that we went the whole first 18, nobody got it. So they said, oh, we'll just carry them over. All right, fine. So you got to understand, that's like if somebody loses it, that's $20 that you lose, right? So if you win it, you win $60. So it got past that, and then we went the next three and the next 18, nobody got the green. By this time, the wind is blowing about 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, in the Central Coast, it
It's
gets pretty
cold.
aggressive. Oh, yeah.
It's cold. And so EJ walks up to 18. Okay, part three, baby, over water, 185 yards. And EJ got to win the money. And I just stick it. I hit a little cut shot, goes in, hits, boom, boom, rolls up to the pin. And I got a little 5-footer for birdie, which means now that's double. That's double.
You got
So
120.
EJ rolls the birdie in, and EJ won a bunch of money yesterday. A bunch of money. Yeah.
Well,
So I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood right now.
It's a perfect segue. It's almost as if you knew what we were about to talk about, but I do want to bring this up. If you want an opportunity to watch the Suns play and have a good time doing some golf-related activity, you should come join us at Putting World for the putting party, our first ever putting party at Putting World. It's not your typical 18-hole course. It's very realistic to greens out there in the valley. So come check it out. Bunch of prizes, giveaways. We have multiple contests going on all night while the Suns will be playing on every single screen and on the loudspeakers, so you won't miss a second of the action. So please come join us. I don't know if EJ is going to be doing the game that night, but if he's not, maybe we can coerce him to come out as well. We'll see. But EJ, the chemistry issues on the Suns continue to rear their ugly head. They've struggled, obviously, of late. And, a lot has been made about the fact that these guys have only played 6 games together, only 108 minutes together. And there's a school of thought they need a lot more time versus there's a lot of other glaring issues that are existing outside of just chemistry issues that they can control that they are not controlling. You watch this team on a day-to-day basis. So far, in 6 games of the Big Three, what do you like? What do you not like? And what do you think is the major issue if you had to point to one with this team?
Familiarity is the number one main issue. And I know it's hard for people to understand it because they pretty much like look at athletes sometimes like robots, and they just expect them to be able to go out there based on paper and get it done. Like you're looking at Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal out there, and you're like, man, they should just be able to just go out there, coexist, and win. And unfortunately, it's not that easy. I wish it would be that easy, but it's not. And I think we've gotten a dose of that, didn't we? Didn't we get it when like LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade got together
Mhm.
in Miami?
Yeah, start off
And
eight
we
and eight.
saw they got off that first year. They got off to a slow start, and they did get to the finals. And guess
And,
what?
and I will say this to back you up. They started off 8 and 8, and everybody was burying them because what was the precedent before them? It was the 2008 Boston Celtics, who had KG, Allen, and Pierce, and they started off 32-3. So everybody just assumes you get a big three, it's going to be gold. And obviously, LeBron and them showed that it isn't. But they did get to the finals that year, so that was the
They
end goal.
got to the finals, but then they lost to a team that everybody said that they would blow out, right? And
Because
that
of
to me, and that to me because they're a dominant team, but again, they were facing a team.
Mhm.
Like they were facing a veteran team. Obviously in Dirk, who was hungry too to win a title. Jason Kidd, who was hungry, had gone to the finals 2 years in a row with New Jersey at that point in time years ago. Sean Marion, who had gone deep in the playoffs with the Phoenix Suns. It was a different animal. They met a team, Tyson Chandler on that team. They met a team, JJ Barea. They met a team that was desperate and they beat them. And so my point is not I'm trying to not make excuses. I'm just trying to break it down for people. That's it. I'm not trying to make excuses. Yes, I'm disappointed at the way we're playing right now and not winning games. I'm disappointed in the fourth quarter. I'm disappointed in all of that. I'm sure a lot of our, viewers today that listen and watch Phoenix Suns broadcast, they can feel the disappointment in my voice at times because I want this team to gel so much, so fast, so quickly. And, I have to be patient too. And so, yeah, it's that I just want people just to understand that this ain't over. Like, this team is a run away from being right back in the mix, as they did a couple of weeks ago when they won seven in a row and they went all the way up to the fourth spot. And so it's just they're gonna have to figure it out, man. And I like the fact that they've had a couple of days here in LA, not having to go back to back and all of that, where they can practice, they can hang out together, still continue to get to know one another, and just try to figure this thing out. And I truly believe that they will. And I just don't want them to have to look up and they're in the eighth spot or they're in the play in or they have an opportunity to still move up. They're not
Mhm.
that far out of the fourth spot, even today. And I just want them to be able to turn this thing around. But it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of patience on everybody's part.
Yeah, for sure. Xavier B is in the chat. He says, "Is this live?" There's your question. There's your answer. We are live right now, so if you have some comments, we'll throw them up on the screen here, right here. EJ, at what point do you feel like, okay, now it's time to panic? Like, are we talking 50 games? Are we talking 60 games? Are we talking X amount of games with the big three? Like, what are you looking for? What would be the signal or the red flag that you need to identify before you start to say, okay, there's a problem here?
When they allow the fourth and fifth seed to get a ton of separation, and I don't know if I would panic. I would just say odds are against anybody to go on the road three series, playoff series and win, even though we saw Miami do it last year and get to the finals. We saw a Houston team back in the 90s do it from the seventh position. So it's doable. And I hate these odds that people throw out and all that. Forget about them odds, man. Records are meant to be broken. Odds are meant to be broken. We see it time and time again. And I'm not worried about that part of it. But I would be worried if we, in the next 3 weeks, if we're not gelling, especially if we're healthy, right? Because we've been talking about getting healthy, getting healthy, getting healthy. So if we're healthy and we're still struggling, then I would be worried in a sense. But right now, I'm disappointed that we're not winning. I want this team to win every night. I want them to go out there and do what everybody else wants them to do, blow people out, be that team that everybody start jumping up and down about. When all these deals were made, I get it. I want that too. But for me, being a player, ex-player too, I do understand the art of coming back. I do understand the art of doing something that people don't think you can do. And then the drive behind wanting to prove them wrong. A lot of that goes on as well. And so I'm just hopeful that, this thing can start to come around sooner than later.
I think we all are. It's one thing to watch this team and love the Suns, but it's also another thing when you know that they're playing a way that's just been atypical of really their careers. Devin Booker has looked a little. He's struggled at times through this stretch, trying to figure out the perfect balance between playmaker and scorer. I think Bradley Beal's trying to get his familiarity with everybody as well, and I think at times he's been aggressive, and then other times he's kind of played back and kind of disappeared from time to time. And then Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. He's been as consistent as anybody on the team. The best, so far he's averaging the most points, and he's played at a high level for a 35-year-old. And everybody keeps saying that, but to me, I don't really equate Kevin Durant as the typical 35-year-old because he's so long, he's so lanky. He hasn't had to stress his body like other players in NBA history, maybe mostly shorter players, and I think he's been playing the way KD always plays, and so trying to figure out that balance between everybody, including all the role players. Grayson Allen, I'll tell you what, Eddie, if it weren't for Grayson Allen being in this lineup, I don't know if there would be any continuity from the big three to the subs, because I feel like Grayson Allen has been that one kind of constant no matter who's in and or out of the lineup, and he kind of understands his role. I think he should shoot a lot more than he has been. But there's one thing that consistently has been brought up, and it especially got brought up this week because multiple people have been saying this. The fourth quarter has been the demise of this team so far this season. The Suns are literally the worst team in the NBA in the fourth quarter, and that is shocking.
In the history of the league, not just
in the history of the league. Yes, in the history of the league. That is shocking for a team that has, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant on it, not to mention Bradley Beal. What? Why? How? How is that even possible? I don't even understand it, to be honest with you.
I think it's a few things that when you look at it, people automatically just look at like you just did. They'll look at, how could you not score a ton of points? How could you only have 9 points with 3 minutes to go in a fourth quarter in a game where you were only down 7 going into the fourth quarter against the Clippers the other night? I mean, how does that happen? I mean, you got Kevin Durant out there who's going to be all Kevin Durant, Devin Booker is going to be, when it's all said and done, I believe they're going to be top 6, top 7 all time in scoring in the history of the NBA. And you say to yourself, how could that happen? And then you have Bradley Beal, and then you have Grayson Allen, then you have Eric Gordon. These are all like snipers, guys that can score. Why is this happening? And a lot of it is not the fact that they're not making shots. It's more so they've had quarters this year where they've turned the ball over. So now you're turning the ball over, and guess what? The other team can score too. And so it just makes it unbalanced, right? So it's a combination of, because I guarantee you, if they start to take care of the ball in the fourth quarter and they start to rebound in the fourth quarter and not allow second shots, second and third opportunities. Just remember the Memphis game a couple of games ago.
Mm-hmm.
If they had gotten a rebound, they probably won that game, right, in the fourth. Remember Memphis, the kid Williams Jr., who just got a contract based on his play, and
3 years.
congratulations, I'm happy for him. But he got a key rebound in that stretch. I think the Suns were up 2, and he got a key rebound After they had gotten one before that, missed the shot, he got another one. They kick it out to Desmond Bain. He makes a three. And everything went downhill after that. And so it's those kind of things, man, that you have to shore up. See, people automatically will just look at like the result of they don't look at the journey of something. They just look at the result. Like when I go speak to different groups, like people see me walk in a room and they say, "Oh yeah, you were a basketball player because you're 6'8". They're looking at the result of me. They don't know what I went through to get to where I am. So they don't understand that journey. They just see the result. And they look at the result and they say, well, why can't you do that? Or you see a guy that's a postman and he's 6'9", and they'll look at him and like, how could you not be in the NBA? But maybe he didn't want to be in the NBA.
Mhm.
Maybe that's what he wanted to be. You're looking at the result of me. And I think that's the problem. A lot of times we look at the result and we pinpoint it. But realistically, if we dig deeper, you'll understand what I just said. The turnovers, the extra rebounds, things of that nature is what's leading to this. And it's not more so the fact that, oh, they're not scoring. And I
Repetitive,
think,
repetitive, controllable issues. These are repetitive, controllable
yeah,
issues since game one. Turnovers. I mean, turnovers.
yeah,
Man, I lose my mind every single time we were sitting here and watching the games together, and I'm like, bro, why are you so lax with the ball? It's the fourth
yeah,
quarter. These guys are getting more intense. You mentioned the Memphis Grizzlies game, and that was just like you lost to a jawless Memphis Grizzlies team when you had a double-digit lead in the third quarter, and you were up by I think 9 going into the fourth, and you just melted down. Like these
yeah.
are inexcusable things. The Spurs game way back in the early part of the season when Kevin Durant got stripped at the last minute and they won the game. Like those are things that are controllable that should have been avoided. And these are the things when you look back at the end of the season, if they don't get a 4 or 5 seed or higher, you're going to look at those games and be like, we were too sloppy at the beginning of the season to really make up enough ground to be a top tier team. And fans are frustrated with it. I know, and I know you're frustrated with it too. It's just that's what frustrates me is these things that are controllable. I get the chemistry issues. I get it. And it's on both sides. I know Vogel is this defensive coach and the defense hasn't been as great as we all thought it could be, but it's the controllable aspect of this that is just driving me insane. And I think a lot of people insane because they should be better than this. They should absolutely be better than this. Devin Booker should never have 6 turnovers in a basketball game. He shouldn't. He's been doing point book for, off and on for the better part of the last 3 or 4 years. Like he should know this. And so that's what frustrates me about what is happening. The inability to identify what you should be doing and how you should be doing it. I just don't get it. And we
Yeah.
expected better from them.
Well, I think when the Suns came into this season, I had no issue with not having a quote unquote pure point guard. And I still don't if these things are done, is what I'm getting ready to say. It's like when you don't have that pure point guard, like Chris Paul handled the ball all the time, dominated the ball, and Chris Paul never turned the ball over. So the Suns' turnovers stayed low and they were able to win games, right? And so we do know that is the antidote, okay? Because Suns fans watch Chris Paul for a number of years do exactly that. He'll go through a whole game or go through multiple games and not have one turnover. Matter of fact, early in the year, Devin Booker had some solid games passing and only had one. I think he had one game where he had no turnovers. That's going to get you the victory all day long. The difference with this team now is because they don't have that guy, the other guys have to understand that now they're going to be responsible for actually making the right pass. And in knowing that, the right pass is not always a scoring pass. The right pass is to get it to a teammate that can actually make the right pass because he has a better angle, he's in a better spot. And now, yeah, you get a hockey assist, but you don't get the assist. That's why I wish the NBA would incorporate hockey assists. I do. Because I think the guy that makes the hockey assist made the best decision more so than the guy that got the assist. Because you had to get it to him to be able to have the best angle to throw it in. He did the simple thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? The guy that's up at the top, and he's like, okay, should I pass it there? Should I pass it here? And he gives you the secure pass to be able to make the scoring pass. To me, that guy's valuable, and that's what the Suns have now. Is they have guys that have to make hockey assists. And my mindset is, and I've been in that situation before, especially when I played in Seattle, especially Gary Payton's early years and stuff, where our offense was moving the ball, and guys just had to make the right pass. And you understand that, man, and you value it. And I think, and I'm sure this is what Frank Vogel is telling them. Like, guys, if we're not going to have a pure point guard, then everybody's responsible for taking care of the ball. And I think they have to get to that point. And when they do, we will see it. And we've seen it this year at times. When they didn't turn the ball over, what happened? Suns blew people out. So we know that that is the antidote to having a solid fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And they have to get to that point. No jumping in the air, making passes. No out of sequence screens, drawing fouls. All of those things, man, get you to win in the fourth quarter. And again, familiarity is going to help them as they continue, but they have to continue to understand that's the way it's going to turn around.
I've long said at the beginning of the season, I said if the Suns were a top 15, possibly 10 defense and were one of the best teams in the league, probably top 3 or 4 in offense, then they were going to be one of the better teams in the league without a doubt. But right now they're mid at both. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, the offense is fine. Well, yeah, the offense can still use some improvement, especially ball movement. And there's a lot of missed opportunities. There's a lot of missed points out there for sure. They can take it to another level. That is the encouraging part. They can take it to another level. They're as they say, they're leaving a lot of meat on the bone. And when that stops to happen, this team will go to another level for sure. Also, by the way, everybody's killing it in the chat. A lot of you guys making some great points. Appreciate you guys for coming through again. Hello, Zigman. I don't remember. Zigman's come here before. Go to Tech Reviews. You guys all killing it. Xavier B. Nice job, guys. Appreciate you and all the comments. Also, appreciate you if you go check out ogsbrands.com because OG's is the best edible in the game. Remember to go to ogsbrands.com to find the closest dispensary to you. Check out Peg's RSO. That's probably my favorite. The RSO. It's a little oil compound that they throw in there that loosen you up, make you feel a little bit good, give you a nice little vibe and carry on with your day. So check them out, OG's Brands. Remember, you must be 21 and over, and you also must be 21 and over to enjoy Four Peaks, the best brew around here. Four Peaks Brew. Check them out on Instagram. Check them out on Twitter. Go to their 8th Street Pub. It's been fantastic. They got great eats. They got great brews. It's the best craft brewery in the state. You can't miss it. Four Peaks. Check out your kilt lifters. They got a new Bad Birdie crossover ale. Like it's money. You can't miss it. Check out Four Peaks, and remember, you must be 21 and over to enjoy. All right. Tonight they got the Lakers, and Eddie, you've been in LA this whole week. I know the Lakers have also been struggling quite a bit in the last several weeks since they won the in-season tournament. They have not been pretty. They are going through it. LeBron even said as much as saying that they were pretty dog shit, to be frank. And so tonight's going to be a very interesting game because you have two teams that have been wildly inconsistent, trying to find their way. And I have a feeling, and Eddie, you tell me if I'm wrong, and you tell me if I'm putting too much stock into this one game. But at the beginning of the season, we couldn't beat the Lakers. We lost to them 3 times in the first month and a half of the season. I feel like if the Suns can put it together and beat LA tonight, even though LA right now record-wise is kind of a mid-team, I feel like that's the kind of mojo and the juice that they need to kind of turn this thing around. Like, okay, at the beginning of the season, we kind of faltered in the fourth quarter and we lost against LeBron, and we didn't have Book and we didn't have Beal. And now we do, and now we can turn it around. Maybe we can shut up those Austin Reeves fans, and we can shut up AD, and maybe we can stop them from flopping and all that stuff. And maybe we can get through the Lakers, assuming the refs don't, blow the whistle and give them 23 free throws in the fourth quarter. What say you?
Yeah, it's a big game. I think every game coming up for the Suns is a big game, but this is a big game without a doubt. It's a rivalry there. They've had our number this year. Uh, it's not going to be easy. AD is playing at a first team All NBA level right now, and LeBron has been unreal all year. You know you're going to get production from them, as we know we're going to get production for the most part, obviously from KD and Devin. Bradley still working his way in the form, and when he really gets it going, I think that's when you're going to see the beauty of this team, and hopefully that's tonight. But yeah, it's a big game. Like anytime you're losing, man, and you're immersed in back and forth, hanging around the 500 mark, man, from an athlete standpoint, man, you just hate that. Like, and it's so hard to get separation from that 500 mark. Like, we got what 3, 4 games over in one stretch, and thought we were going to take off from there, and now we're right back, and we're only one game over. And so yeah, it's a huge game. Obviously, it's on national TV, so you want to come out and you want to play. Uh, and so I expect the Suns to come out and play an excellent game tonight. They've had days off. They've been here. They've been practicing, and is continually trying to get things in order. I spoke to Frank Vogel the other day, and he's positive. He's like, we're going to get this thing together. It's just taking time right now, and hopefully we can stay healthy and we can have everybody on the practice court every day and be able to work on that continuity that's going to be vitally needed. Like, and I think that's the key. So hopefully it'll be a great game. I'm going to enjoy watching it. I don't know if I'm going to the game or I'll just, sit in my room and watch it on TV. I haven't decided yet.
I would suggest you go to the game because nobody wants to listen to Reggie Miller, and you know who's going to be doing that game. You know that. So, I mean, trust me. Tonight is definitely one of those
Well, I
games
can turn
where
the volume down.
I-
Look, I announce for a living. I can announce the damn game myself. I'll turn the volume down, and I'll do that sometimes. I'll turn the volume down, and I'm just making my own thoughts. I'm not. It's just a couple of people. I just, all due respect, they have a tremendous job, and I'm not hating on their job, but it's like anything else, and I'm sure those people are the same way. That they probably hear me calling the game, they don't like me, so it's not personal, but it's just a few in that business that I don't too much care to hear from when they're calling Suns games, especially, and so I'll turn it down.
I feel like you're kind of volunteering to the next time there's some nationally televised games and you guys don't have to do it. Maybe you can just pop in on a watch along and just give your 2 cents a little bit while the game's going on. It sounds like you're kind of volunteering for that. Did I read that
Oh,
right?
well, you've never invited me. I mean, I don't have an issue in doing that, but
Got it.
I just don't want. I don't. But I've seen you all in action though. Y'all kind of crazy and maniacal. I mean, I like my job. I like my job, man.
Oh well.
Like, so y'all got some emotion going on up in that room, man.
Listen, man. I know you like your job. That's why I never set you up for failure on on this podcast. I never asked you a question that I know would probably get you in trouble, right? So
You can always ask the question. I'm smart enough to know not to answer your damn question.
oh
so
man.
so don't ever hold back. So
Well,
I do a 3 hour radio show. Okay, by the way, let me put the plug in. Sirius XM NBA Radio. We're on from obviously 2 to 5 Phoenix time, 4 to 7 Eastern time, and 3 hours of all nonstop basketball. And I have a co-host that always is trying to tweak me and get me to say stuff. So I don't have any control over that. You can say whatever you want.
I
You
mean,
know.
I'll say it. I feel like I'm your best counterpart. No shade to Kevin Ray or Justin Termini. I'm just saying, like, I feel like I'm a solid number 2. I like to
So
throw
you
those
like the
at you.
face. You like the face of EJ.
Yeah, I mean,
And
whatever. Hey, I will be the bodyguard and I will lead the way. I'll clear everybody out so the man can come through. I'm okay with that. It's all good. It's all good. Speaking of, not setting up people for failure, uh, you know, Stephen A. Smith. When this happened and he kind of teased it, I knew we were in for a show, and I knew we were in for something. And if you haven't had an opportunity to go watch Stephen A. Smith's YouTube channel and watch what he says and how he breaks down Jason Whitlock, man, you really should, because there's very few people in the world that I feel like can articulate and tear you down verbally like a Stephen A. Smith. And he does it in a way that's very calculated. It's very methodical. And I mean, listen, he puts on a show. That's why he's making the money that he's making. That's why he's still on ESPN. But here's a little example of what he had to say about one Mr. Jason Whitlock.
But I mean it from my soul when I say this is the worst human being I've ever known. I don't know of another human being worse than Jason Whitlock. He is a piece of shit. He's the dude that's going to have a funeral and ain't going to be no pallbearers. Might be 2 people to show up. He's that dude. He is the absolute worst.
Ooh, so it got a lot more intense than that. And like I said, if you had an opportunity to go take a look, and he brought up some facts from the back, and it's very interesting. EJ, I will say this: you and I both are not keen fans of Jason Whitlock and really the way he goes about his business. I think I do agree, and I do align with Stephen A. when it comes to what I think of Jason Whitlock, but I've never worked with him. I don't know him personally, and I know you've engaged with him several times on Twitter. What'd you think about this?
Not shocked. I'm not shocked at anything that man does. And at one point in time, I can quite honestly tell you, I enjoyed reading his articles. This is Jason Whitlock. I enjoy reading his articles. Uh, I would watch his show every now and then on Fox. Uh, and obviously, he was on ESPN at one time. And so he's gotten all these chances and more chances than most. And at that point in time, if you remember, they were putting on, that's when writers started to get on TV, right? And so now you have a lot of writers that have really done well. They've moved from writing and they've gone to TV. And the channels and the networks, they were giving these individuals a lot of opportunity. And I was in a way happy for these people because they were always behind the scenes. They weren't heard. I mean, they weren't seen, but they were heard. And now their face is in front of you, right? And all the little collective of shows that we have that we watch, you're gonna was one of those guys, and he got an opportunity. He's an ex-football player. He didn't do much as an athlete, but give him credit. He at least got further than most people would get. And I thought the dude was okay. And then the struggle started. Started getting fired. ESPN didn't use him anymore. Fox got rid of him. And ever since then, even before then in a little bit, but ever since then, he's been vindictive. And I won't shy away from this. And more vindictive against people of color,
Yeah.
which I don't understand it. I just don't.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying, I look at the world so different. I truly do. And I grew up in the city of Chicago, man. I didn't have interaction with a white person until literally I got to school. Outside of school, I had no interaction all the way up until I was about 12 years old. Okay. And we moved from the north side of Chicago to the west side, and we were the second African American family to move in that neighborhood. And all of a sudden, all my friends were white. And I never saw color. They taught me how to play hockey, street hockey. I played football. I was playing baseball. And a few of these guys are still friends of mine to this day. Like, when I changed, I changed for the good, man. I just went over and I adjusted. This dude, he got fired from these jobs and he totally turned on everybody. Don't get me wrong, everybody. But more so, he's trying to make himself known by going after people that look like him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't understand it. Like, I just don't. And for me, I have no respect for him at all. I think he's a piece of crap because he's selling his soul for a paycheck.
Yeah.
And I would never do that. You don't think I didn't have an opportunity to write a tell-all book? The stuff that I know,
Yeah.
like 18 years in this league. I've been in the NBA for over 40 years. You don't think I could write a tell-all book? You don't think that I could go after somebody and pinpoint something to get paid? That's what he's doing. The people that behind him, they are so excited about how he's attacking athletes, African American athletes, and they're excited about it. I don't know who these people are, but he is just out there, just whatever he can say. Now, Stephen A. Smith is the face of ESPN. Jason Whitlock, he is. He earned it. No matter what you think of him, okay, everybody's not going to like Stephen A. Smith. I disagree with him at times and stuff he says too. But the dude earned it, man. And he's going at him, talking about what he did in college as a basketball player. And you didn't do jack squat as a football player. You made it because you was a big house, but you couldn't maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't maintain it. And it's just like, years ago when I think somebody put a racial slur on LeBron James' guard gate at his house. He goes at LeBron like LeBron did it. Like, it's just a constant with him, man. And it's baffling to me. It really is. I don't like him. I'm not gonna go as deep as Stephen A. It's not. I don't hate anybody, but I understand what Stephen A. Smith's talking
Yeah.
about. If he feels that way, hey, do you. But I have no respect for this man. He's totally changed. He's totally gone south. He's picked a side that he can make money off of. And the prevailing thought of he's going to go after every athlete he can. And that's what he does on a nonstop basis. And yeah, he knows I don't like him. If people don't understand, just go on Twitter. I went at him today. He knows I don't like him.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he got a little rough and gruff with me, and he didn't realize that I was actually at an event that he was at. I said, why don't you? I tell you what, I'm here at the hotel. Why don't you want to discuss this further? Come on, let's do it. Nobody running from you, man. Like, so yeah, I don't think we've seen the end of this because now he's gotten attention and he's
Yeah.
going to run off about 50 tweets. So now he's getting attention off what Stephen A. said.
Yeah.
So that's how he works. We should just shut him off and don't bring him up. But I think we also enjoy just letting him know what a piece of what Stephen A. said he is. That dude, man.
Well, yeah. Listen, I agree with you. Everything that you said in terms of the perspective. I can't help but think, and there is a term in the Black community that we have used about individuals like himself that I'm not going to repeat here, but it's very much like Steven, the character Steven on Django. I'll just say it like that. Yeah. And it's no different, really. And EJ, you and I had very different backgrounds growing up. I grew up interracial family. My dad was Black, my mom was white. Grew up in Cordes Junction, Arizona, around nothing but white people.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't except for my summer vacations out to LA around my dad's side of the family that I would even see anybody that was Black around me. I was the only Black. It felt like I was the only Black kid up in Prescott, like in that area, right? And so my upbringing was completely different than yours. But as you grow, there's two things that I realized in my life. One, people know that I'm not white. So the people out there that don't jive with people of color, I'm one of those people. And so I've been on that side and been victimized because
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, right? Also, too, I had to learn a lot about my own Black history through sources outside of just my dad, because my dad is a deaf man, grew up in Texas in the 40s and 50s during the height of racial tension in America, but because he was deaf, he wasn't able to really understand the depth of the issues on so many different levels that we were facing here in America. And so I had to learn that as I got older from a variety of other sources, and it's been a journey for me, right? And so when when I finally got to the point where, I understood a significant part of the journey of Black people, not only in America, but around the world, I have tremendous pride in that. And when I see an individual like this just completely sell out to try and appease people that could give two shits about Black people, let me just say it like that, it's really disappointing. And that's just below the scum of the earth, in my opinion. And Stephen A was spot on about that stuff. And I know his whole 45-minute thing was filled with a lot of profanity, name calling, and you can like that or you don't. It's fine. But I will say that that there's a place for everything, and I think Stephen A calculated his place and his target, and he took it at a moment that I thought was quite apt. So,
look,
I will
he
say this
touched the
too.
nerve.
I will say this real quick too. I have never, ever, ever, ever judged a person based on the way they look, their color, what gender they are. I could give two shits about any of that stuff. I basically only judge you on how you treat me and the people around.
Right.
And that's
After
all I
you
can
get
do.
to know them. Yeah. After you get to know them, then you can judge them. And I just, and most people do. Like most people do. And then that's the part that gets me. It's like there's some bad people in this world, but it's really a small percentage. A lot of great people in this world. More great people in this world than bad, by far. And to me, I always tell people, just judge people, man, based on what you think, not what others think.
Mm-hmm.
We far too much have so many people making judgments on people based on what somebody else told them about that person. And just because you don't, there's so many people that I get along with that I have friends that don't get along with them. But I'm not going to not get along with them because you don't. That's between you and him, not or you and her. It's not between me and them. And so I'm not going to do that because I wouldn't want anybody doing that to me. Like, because it is some people that might not care for me too much, and that's fine. But I don't want somebody else saying, "Oh, I don't like Eddie because he treated my friend wrong." Well, hold up now. Maybe your friend did something that I didn't like. Maybe I just not, I'm not attracted to your friend as regards to being a friend. But you're different, and so that's just the way I look at it. And like I said, what he did, the way he want to go at Stephen A. Smith based on a book because he's jealous. He's jealous of his book. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you read his book. That's why I know he's jealous because
Yeah.
he read it. Like if I don't care for somebody too much, I'm not reading the book.
True.
I'm
Yeah.
not, and I love to read. So he read it because he was looking for dirt. So you people that follow Jason Whitlock understand. He read Stephen A. Smith's book because one, he's envious of him. Stephen A. Smith's making over $10 to $15 million a year. He thought that he was going to be that guy, and he failed. And now he's looking for dirt on him. He's jealous of athletes because he was what? A failed athlete. He failed. He, at one point in time, thought that he would be a great athlete, but he failed. And so now he goes after athletes because he's envious. He's an envious dude. That's all it is. And the people that follow him and like him, you're envious too. Your character is of that ilk.
Yep.
That's the problem.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. The great thing about this show is that we enjoy Suns basketball, and we all do it together, and we talk about hoops. We talk about things like this sometimes. That's the joy of this, and it's really a privilege to be able to share that with all of you guys. You guys' comments in the chat are fantastic. Some really good perspectives. Really appreciate you all. Also, we have one super chat before we get out of here from Psycho Blue saying, nothing ever comes easy in the Valley. Curious, however, Ishbia will respond if the big three are healthy, and 3 weeks from now, we're in trouble. And then also, Saul and EJ didn't just give us sports takes, but life lessons today, more like Whitlock. Gotcha. Psycho Blue, we really do appreciate it. It is going to be interesting to see how Ishbia responds to, if this does continue for another 3 weeks, what this is going to look like. But we have some time to try and figure it out, and hopefully the Suns will do that tonight in LA. And so we can always hope, EJ. That's all we got right now. It's all we got is hope.
I just tell people, remember when they were losing early, went on a 7-game win streak, and we thought, okay, man, they got it together. Just know that time is coming again. And this is a marathon. Keep telling people it's a freaking marathon, man. And remember this, the Lakers were a play-in team. They made the conference finals last year. The Heat were an 8th seed play-in team. They pretty much almost lost their play-in game to Atlanta. Was it Atlanta?
Yeah. No. It was Toronto.
It was Toronto.
Yeah.
They barely got them. Okay, Toronto was winning that game, and they went from there and they made an NBA Finals. So enjoy the marathon. It gives you a headache. I know it takes you up and down like a roller coaster, but we know we got the product to go win. And now, it's about just the right ingredients, making it work around them. And I think that's the challenge. And hopefully they'll get it done and they'll start playing much better soon.
To end this show, I will say, I will quote the great Andy Dufresne off of Shawshank. Hope is a great thing, maybe the best of things, and no great thing ever dies. So go Suns. Hopefully they get it back on track tonight. For EJ, you can follow him on Twitter at JumpShot8. You can follow me on Twitter at Saul_Bookman. Until next time, we love y'all. Peace.